Hello and welcome, Damudar. Today, I'm very excited. We're going to talk about Appwrite, an alternative to Firebase, as they indicate. So, I have one of the best Flutter developer in the world and YouTuber, as well as a Google developer expert with me, who is also working on Appwrite, software or web application or whatever you want to call it, actually. And he's going to talk about why Appwrite is awesome, and then he will pair program with me to implement like Appwrite into my famous MJ Coffee app. Hello, Damodar. How's it going?
Hey Majid, thank you. Thank you for great introduction. You flatter me. And it's great. It's great. I'm really excited to be here, talk about Appwrite and Flutter. Yeah.
It's very exciting to have you in this show. It's a pleasure to have you on board. Can you introduce a little bit yourself and also tell us about Appwrite and your relation with Appwrite and everything around that?
Okay, sure. So firstly, I'm Damodar Loani from Kathmandu, Nepal. One of the Google developer expert from 2020. And I've been working with Flutter for almost 3 years now. Yeah, more than 2 years, almost 3 years. And getting into Appwrite was one of the thing led because of Flutter. So I was exploring Flutter, and I was exploring all the open source technologies that I could work with Flutter, that I could use with Flutter to make great applications during my Flutter work. And during that time I was also making some YouTube tutorials with Flutter and Firebase, and I was looking for other alternatives to Firebase, uh, not only to show it in my tutorials but also to use it for my personal projects as well. I was looking for open source alternatives, and that is how I came to know about Appwrite. And once I started using it, it was so simple. It was all built on Docker, and I had previously used Docker, so it was simple to get started for me. So I started making tutorials regarding that. And then during that time, I got a chance to talk to the founder of Appwrite, or the sole owner of Appwrite at the moment, Eldad. He's a great guy. He helped me a lot during my tutorials. So I was recording tutorials regarding Appwrite. I would have some issues with their Flutter SDK. I would go back to him. I would ask questions. I get feedback. And during that time, I also got a chance to like contribute to their Flutter SDK. I implemented web support and all those things. At that time, I was not working with Appwrite. I was merely contributing it to as an open source project. And later, because of all this, and that I was already a active community member in Appwrite, I got chance to work with Appwrite. And now talking about Appwrite is an open source backend as a service. Much like Firebase, it handles many of the like many of the repeated activities that mobile and web developers need for their applications, like databases, user management, storage, cloud functions, all those kind of things. And it provides all those services. It is secure, and it has nice console. It has everything built in, and it's built from scratch with Docker support, and it is built with like scalability in mind. It is still an ongoing project, though it is not stable yet. Many of us are already using it in production as well. So that's all about Appwrite and me. Thank you.
All right, perfect. So I guess that's now we know Upright a bit, and that's great. So I used to build my one of my application MJ Coffee app, which we're gonna pair program today on that with Firebase.
Mhm.
I also have tutorial on Firebase on Plural site, and I spend a lot of time on Flutter and Firebase. But
Yeah.
when I get to know Appwrite, I was very excited because I'm a big fan of having competition in this world. It's nice to have several players, not just one let's say player, and that's only Firebase, for example, and that's very
Mhm.
exciting.
Yeah.
And as far as I understood, let me open up this website for pop.dev. Here is the package. So we understood that you support Flutter and there is an Appwrite Flutter SDK.
Yes.
First of all, one question here is that are you also part of the team to develop this SDK? Like you are an author of this SDK, one of the author, perhaps?
Yes. So talking about SDK, there is one interesting thing. We generate our SDK using our own inbuilt tool, in-house tool. We generate all our SDKs using that and Swagger spec. So our API generates a Swagger spec file, and using that spec, we automatically generate our SDKs using some tweak templates, right? So I'm one of the lead developer working on Flutter as well as other SDKs of Appwrite.
This sounds very interesting. So it means that you kind of like all of your SDKs are synced in some words. Like you generate as soon as there is a new API, let's say, or new change, then all the SDKs, not just in Dart and Flutter, for example, in all the other languages, will get the newest update, right? Because you are
Yes,
auto generating everything. Well,
yes,
that's fantastic.
we are using Swagger spec. So once our API is updated, our spec gets updated, and we generate the SDK using the new spec. So we have all the SDKs in sync.
All right, that's fantastic. So we're gonna come back to that later and talk about like how you can do that. This is interesting as well. But then today, our main focus is on Appwrite and how I can rewrite my application at the moment with Appwrite. But before we get into the application, one question:
Yes.
um, how can you tell me like why should I use Appwrite, for example, instead of Firebase, for example? Let's say.
Okay. So I am a Firebase user myself. I have been using Firebase for quite a lot of times. I have multiple Flutter projects, production level projects for my clients as well as my own running with Firebase, right? But there are some issues with Firebase. Let's not say issues, but there are some what do we say? There are some parts of Firebase that I do not like at the moment, like uh, query querying the Firestore database, right? If we want to make a query with text search or full text search or any kind of search, it's a pain. We have to integrate whole another tool, right? We have to integrate all
Yeah, right.
Volia or Elasticsearch or something. That is one thing. Next, the user management or assigning roles to user, role based user management, that is another set of complications. Though we can use like custom claims and we can even use Firestore database for saving the roles, it is another set of pain that I feel with Firebase. And yet another set of pain that I feel with Firebase is the permissions. So we have to write a permission in whole different language that is somewhat like JavaScript or JSON, right? And there is not a lot we can do about permission. There are some advanced stuff, but even with permission, if I want to read database in the permission to get data and compare my user data with request data with the actual data, it will incur the read cost, right? It will add to the read cost. All these challenges of Firebase led me to find alternatives to Firebase, and I looked into many alternatives at the moment, and one that supported Flutter from beginning was Appwrite. And for me, why Appwrite was better than Firebase for most many of my projects was because one, the users and role management with teams and roles, it's great. Like we can manage any kind of user scenario like admin uh, user scenario or any complex scenarios with multiple teams and multiple groups roles in each group with Appwrite easily. Next thing is permission. For database, we have individual document level permissions with users roles teams, right? So we can assign permission to individual documents. And then even for storage files, we can assign permission to individual files. So that was another thing that led me to Appwrite. And another most important thing for me was it was open source. I could self host it on my own server. So these were the things that
Yeah.
led me to use Appwrite.
That's fantastic. So I think one of the very interesting parts when it comes to Appwrite for me personally is that I can run Appwrite like as a Docker, images or containers in my machine, right? So
Yeah.
which means I can actually deploy those Dockers in my own server and host it on my own infrastructure. Is that
Yes.
also something that I understood it correctly? So
Yeah.
this is actually very exciting. So, but then, does it mean like if I use Docker and like run all of the infrastructure for Appwrite and my own infrastructure, for example, then how do you charge me? How do you make money? So, if I use all of your services on Docker and everything works,
Okay. At the moment, we do not charge you. We do not want to charge you. We do not want to make money from it because we are a open source model company. I I don't want to go into details because I'm not the right person, but we have
absolutely,
some funding and we'll maybe soon we'll have some announcements regarding our funding as well. And
absolutely.
right now we are working to make the product open and best, and later we will have our own cloud hosted solution like Firebase has, from where we will start monetizing. But at the moment we are just focused on making the product great, not on monetizing it.
Okay. I already fell in love with Upright. So this feature, it just made me so excited about it. Like I can use the product on my own infrastructure and scale it up or scale it down as I want. And that's fantastic. All right, great. Now let's go to my code base and my MJ Coffee app. This is my famous app that I always pair program with different people on this app to make it perfect, add different features. And today, I used to use Firebase for this app, but now I decided somehow to replace Firebase with Appwrite. And
Mm.
I want you to help me to implement Appwrite. So I actually got rid of the whole Firebase stuff in this application at the moment. So it's pure, it's clean. There is no backend for that at the moment. So we can actually implement Appwrite. All right. And as always, you also have full access to my code base via live share in VS Code, so we can pair program together. So let's get it started. First thing first, perhaps I need to run the Docker version of Appwrite, right?
Yes.
So, or is there any other solution?
No, right now you need to run one command that you can get from appwrite.io. If you go to appwrite.io and tap
Okay.
get started button,
Here we
get
go. Get it
yeah,
started button.
and
All
just
right.
copy that because you are on Mac, right? You should copy the
Yeah,
Unix
I am
one.
on Mac.
You can click to copy and then go back to your terminal and just make sure Docker is installed. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
one command.
I do have the Docker. Well, maybe it's not running, but let's make sure.
Docker
I do
machine.
have Docker. Okay, now it's started. So let me now run my Docker command here, which I copied. Oh, it's okay. Here we go. It's going to download it because it might take some time. But let's move on to the next step. What should I do for the next step?
Okay, so once you have installed locally or in a VM, you have a domain assigned or anything, you need to go to your local host, right? If you have installed
Right.
locally, otherwise you can go to your domain and then you will access the Appwrite console where if you are moving there first time, you can sign up. Otherwise, you can sign in with your email and password. Once you get
All
in,
right.
you'll see the list of your projects. If you don't have one, you can create a new project.
All right. All
And
right.
once you have a project, you can tap on that project to get to the project dashboard.
But let's take a moment and talk about the technology behind it. So when Docker comes up, so what type of database or what type of web server I will need to face with it?
Okay, so talking about the infrastructure or what's behind Appwrite stack, there are a couple of things. For the web server, we are using PHP Soul. It's the multi-threaded architecture of PHP server with Soul, and then we have at the moment MariaDB database, right? And Appwrite database is built on top of MariaDB database. So Appwrite database is a kind of NoSQL or document based architecture built on top of the MariaDB database. And then we have
Uh-huh.
yeah, we have a SUL server with REST API, and then we have a WebSocket server right now from version 0.10. We have a real-time server with WebSocket. So that is what we have.
Okay.
And there are a bunch of other services behind the scene, like we have email service that you can integrate your email SMTP server. And then we have other services like certificate service for automatically generating the SSL certificate. uh, so there are a bunch of other service behind the scene working to make it great.
All right. Okay. Got it. But that's interesting. But first of all, the Docker is asking me a couple of questions. I'm just going to answer like quickly, but then probably we need to answer it properly. Don't worry if you are watching that. That's fine.
Yeah,
But yeah, go ahead.
running it locally, you can answer all all with default answers, because it's just some port. Default port is 80 and 443 for HTTP and HTTPS. Then there is a secret key, that is the encryption key. And then there is a host name. If you have a domain setup, if you are setting it for the server, you need to set up the host name and the custom domain as your own domain. Otherwise, for local setup, you can just keep all the default options.
All right. Actually, that's interesting. You said that you're running the infrastructure for the database on top of MariaDB, which is like a relational database, right? But then you
Right.
you provide to us like a non-relational abstraction or database.
Yes,
Is that
yes. So Appwrite builds a document-based architecture on top of the MariaDB at the moment. And one interesting thing, we are going to a massive database refactor to support more underlying capabilities of our database system, as well as it will still be a document-based architecture, but we'll be able to support MariaDB, even MongoDB and Postgres with our upcoming refactor, and we'll have a lot more features in
okay?
database.
That's interesting. So that means that like later when you do this refactoring, I can just go and choose the engine of my database. I can say I want Mongo or I want even MariaDB as SQL database, not NoSQL database, right?
Yes. No, no,
That's
not as SQL. We can't access it as SQL. It will still be a document-based architecture on top of MariaDB, but we
I
are
see.
adding a lot more capabilities, like adding indexes and unique values, assigning unique values to attributes. A lot more things are coming. You can check the progress. It's open source, so you can always check our PRs, what's going on. So apart from that, uh, it will still be a document based architecture like NoSQL on top of any relational or non relational database that we support.
All right, very good. So it seems like my Docker is installed and now I have the dashboard ready. I have already created a project, Flutter Original, to just save some time. So here is my dashboard right now. So my dashboard locally is ready. One question here.
Yeah.
So I have nothing here, but I can see I can create database, storage, and user function, and all of things. That's great. But one question here is that is this Docker infrastructure, which I just spin it up, is it production ready? Can I just like spin that up in my like let's say an cloud infrastructure like AWS and don't care about anything else like security wise or performance wise? How does that scale? Should I take care of that or will you take care of that? Or how does that work?
At the moment, okay, talking about security and everything else, it's quite good. It's production ready. You can host it, you can just run it. But during the setup, you were asked a couple of questions like default ports and then security key. You need to add your own proper security key. uh,
I
Apart from
see.
that, everything else is like, even database passwords are auto generated. Not here, you can auto generate it, but locally, while setting this up directly in locally, it's not like actually good for production. If you set this up, you need to change some environment variables. So once you set it up, it creates a folder called Appwrite, inside which there are two files, dockercompose.yaml file and then .env file, right?
Hmm.
So you need
Yes,
to edit the .env file. There are a couple of environment variables that you might want to change, like database passwords, and then a couple of other things like security keys, and then some other things are like good with default, but you need to change passwords and default keys. As well as you might want to change the cloud functions that are supported. By default there are 5 or 6 cloud functions that are loaded. You might want to keep it low or only to those languages or platforms that you want. Like we support
I see.
6 or 7 different cloud functions: php, node.js, dart, right? So you might want to enable only the one that you will use to save some spaces and everything.
I see. Okay, sounds great. Sounds great. Okay, let's actually go to the Flutter application. So I'm gonna get it started with my. I have already my, you know, backend ready, and I'm gonna go and install it in my Flutter app. So I would assume that we need to install the SDK first, right? In PubSpec YAML file.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm gonna actually install this SDK. So, well, as always, I think I can just install it with my PubSpec Assist. And what is it? Is it Appwrite only, right?
Yes.
Let's move on. So now it's added to my dependencies. All right, good.
Yeah,
So
great.
what should I do? Here is
We
my
need
main.
we got popget is ran, right? So we should have the package,
Yeah,
right?
I
So
will
first,
make sure. Let's actually see. I will make sure that it's actually run.
yeah, that's great.
Okay, that
Okay,
is okay.
now we need to import it.
Yes, here we go. Uh, is there any like, let's say, for example, in Firebase, we need to initialize Firebase, and then everything else will work. Is it like similar approach? We need to do it somewhere even before run app, or how does that work?
No, it's we can do it anywhere because it's all API calls, and SDK just handles makes it easy to set up some headers and everything. You can basically do this without SDK, just using our REST API, but SDK
I
makes the
see.
setup a lot easier. But setup can run anywhere, so
But
you can
then
import. Yeah.
okay, that's good. But then how is the best approach here? Should I create my client for Appwrite, let's say here, or should I just do it somewhere else? Or I mean here, what I mean here is that like before run app
Mm,
in main,
I
or should I do it somewhere else?
I try what I do usually is I create a singleton class called Appwrite service or anything, and then there I
Yes.
initialize all my clients, Appwrite clients like database and
Okay.
storage.
Well, actually, I do have some singletons already, but maybe I can copy one of this. For example, let's say Appwrite service, let's call it, if you
Yeah,
agree.
yeah,
And then let's
great.
go there. So let's actually change us to Appwrite service.
Okay.
And I'm going to actually delete the rest of the things here. So here is my, okay, my service. Should I like create my client here?
Let's import and then let's create a client inside initialization. Yeah, client. You can make it late client.
Yeah, sure. I can actually.
So, yeah, you can also create an instance there. That's good.
So it's already actually imported from Appwrite. So
Yeah.
it's over there, right? That's good.
Yes.
So another, what else should I do?
So now in the factory method, can we access this client inside factory method?
Yeah, or another thing, maybe we can create actually a method to initialize it. Like let's say init.
Yeah, let's make an it method. Okay.
So
So
then,
here we need client dot
okay,
set endpoint.
aha, because that's the first thing I need to do, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
we need we
What is
need
the
to.
endpoint?
So this is the URL. This you'll actually get it from the dashboard. If you go to the dashboard in the console, Appwrite console,
Okay,
you are in
settings.
projects. Yeah, if you go to settings, click on settings. So here you have your project ID and API endpoint. These are the two things that we need.
Okay, these two.
Yeah.
That's good. So let's copy then this one. Here we go. Actually,
Yes.
I will quickly replace this.
And then you can chain another method right after set endpoint. You can chain set project.
Okay, then the next step is to set a project, and
Yeah.
that's probably the value that you mentioned here. I need to
Yes.
copy,
The
right?
project
In the
ID.
dash. All
Yes.
right. So this is going to set my project.
Yes. And if you are working locally
Yep.
with local host, and
Yep.
you are using HTTPS instead of HTTP,
Okay.
right? Then we need a
Yes.
self signed certificate, because locally we don't have actual certificate. It's working with self signed certificate, right? So we need to chain another method uh, after set project, that is set self signed.
Oh, okay. Okay. Got
You
it.
can pass true there,
Yeah. Here we go.
or you can default is true. You can either pass true, or you can even leave it as it is. So
Yeah.
we are just basically telling the SDK to accept the self signed certificate.
All right. That's good. There is a typo here. Let me fix it quickly. So here is the whole things that I want for the client. That's it, right? So
Yes.
from here, then actually I can get access to my client directly.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
actually,
this is client. So if you want to use other service, so let's say we want to use authentication service, right?
uh-huh.
For that we have another service, client, sorry, account. So you can create
Okay.
an instance of account. So what you can
Okay.
do is you can create another member.
Okay. So let's actually do that.
Yeah.
So let's say we want to use database, you said.
Yeah. Database.
And that
uh,
could
we
be
have a
account,
no database will be database service,
database. Okay.
and we need to pass client, so we need to initialize it inside init method. So you can make it late database so that we can
Uh,
initialize it.
where the client isn't this client, do you mean? Or
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
client?
That client.
Okay. So where should I initialize it? Like
So
you
you
said,
can make it late final database.
you, yeah, sure. Do you want to come to this page and actually take it over? So
Yeah,
that might
no
be even
problem.
easier.
So what we do here is we make
Yeah,
it late
yeah.
final. So sorry, database,
Here you
right?
go. Yeah, sure.
And then we don't initialize it here. Okay.
You initialize it when after the client is set.
Yeah. So
All right. Okay.
sorry, this is how we do it. This, I think you have GitHub Autopilot. Is it me or you? I think me.
Yeah. Yes, you.
Let me just turn it off. This is globally. Okay. So I think we
All
need
right.
to, instead of this, we might need to make it
Nullable, right? So
yeah.
probably it's better. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So we can't even make it final because we are initializing it later.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we can make it nullable. If we
Sure.
don't want it nullable, we can make it late and initialize it during factory. So I tend to do that during
Yeah, sure.
instantiation. Okay.
Sure. Okay,
uh,
let's have a scenario here. While
okay.
we are actually initializing database, maybe what we can do. So if I actually click here, there is a very simple list of these coffees.
Okay.
So now these are actually hard coded.
Mm-hmm.
I want to actually move these to a table or like a column or whatever
Okay.
to have all of these coffees in the database and read it from there. Maybe we can just implement that for get an understanding of how Appwrite works and together with Flutter. Do you think it's a good idea?
Maybe we should start with authentication, because without authentication we cannot write to database or even read.
Aha. Okay.
We can read public resources, but we can't read any.
But when you say authentication, that means you mean that I definitely need to have like a login. I'm not able to actually write to database if my user is anonymous.
No, we can write with anonymous, but we need to create anonymous session at least. So we have
Aha. We
anonymous
need to have a
login.
session at least. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do that then. Let's do that.
Yeah. Like database, you can create account instance. So there is account service. So
Like
right
I can
below,
just duplicate this and I can say account, and here is going to be account.
yes.
Okay.
And then
Same thing here.
yes, same thing in the initialization.
Good.
Yes, exactly. Okay. So in your login method, we can create a login anonymous method or login method so that we can
Okay,
log
let's
in
actually do it
anonymously.
here. Login like
Anonymous or something.
yeah, anonymous.
Yeah. So it's
Okay.
anonymous. We don't require any parameters.
Sure.
Okay. So we can just call try catch. We can try catch because we might get some exception, right? Catch
Right.
Appwrite exception. Catch no on Appwrite exception. Let me add this.
Okay. On yeah, okay. So
Okay.
you have
On
like
Appwrite exception.
a specific exception is which is Appwrite, right? Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay.
Then for exception, let's just do nothing for now.
No, you can print. Yeah, you can print E.
But for okay, what should I do in the try?
So await account dot.
But this must be async then.
Yes, it must be a sig. Await
Okay.
account dot create anonymous session.
Okay. Here we go. I do have a function for that. But should I assign it somewhere? Like
Yeah,
or
you can assign it somewhere.
Okay. I think this is okay. Now it's fixed. That was because the account it was null.
Yeah.
Cool. So then I can say this is my account, or yeah. For now, it's
this
my
is
account.
a session. This will get back a response.
It's my session.
Yeah, response dot data will be the actual session.
Okay, this is actually going to back like respond. Is that?
Yeah.
So okay. Well, I can see there is an annotation here. Respond. Okay.
Yeah.
And then this function, should that return anything like, or should it be just void?
We don't need session actually if we are not planning to do anything with it at the moment, because session is not the account. Session is just to initialize our SDK with cookies and everything. So it's okay not to return anything at the moment.
Okay, so then it's safe actually to just do this, let's say.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I will make a comment here. It's safe to just do this to create session.
Anonymous session, yeah.
Good. So that's good. So probably then when I click on sign in right now, I just need to call this function. That's
before that,
pretty much.
Before that, to complete the initialization, we need one more thing. So
yeah, sure.
To prevent any client from connecting to our endpoint, we need to add platform. So you need to get actual bundler ID. We are in macOS, right? iOS. So we need the bundle ID that you have for this project, and we need to add it in our project in Appwrite console.
Okay. All right. So, but then why do I need that? Where should I pass that later?
So why we need it is we need to add a platform, and SDK handles it internally. The SDK will send the package name while making the request as a origin, so that the Appwrite will trust the origin.
I see. Good. Okay. Then here is the service. Go ahead and do. I'm going to see what you do then.
So no, what we need is we actually need the bundle ID for this project. Can you
But then I
open?
need to install a package for that, like maybe package info. So
No,
then
no,
I
no,
get my
no. We don't need to
ah,
send it.
even hard coded is fine. Like I can copy and paste. You mean?
Yeah, you
Okay, okay.
find it inside project.pbx. Oh, okay, we are at the
Yes,
same
here we
place.
go.
Yeah, this
Okay,
one,
so
right?
yes, let's do it again. Okay,
Yeah.
then to find the project bundle ID, then I can maybe find it under my project iOS file, and here is actually the bundle ID. This is what you mean, right? The bundle identifier.
Yes, yes. And the
Okay.
best way to get it would be to open the iOS project in Xcode and then get it,
Yeah,
but
sure.
it's good. So now
Good.
we need to go back to our Appwrite console, Appwrite
Okay.
dashboard, and
Yeah.
go back to home. We are in settings, back to home. Yes,
Okay.
and scroll down. Scroll down.
Okay.
There is
Add
a
platform.
button called Add Platform. Select Flutter.
Okay.
Yeah, tap on that and select Flutter.
Okay. Now here I
Now,
can actually bundle ID.
yeah, you can give any name, meaningful name that you want to view there.
MJ Coffee app or
Yeah,
iOS.
and you need to
Okay.
register.
Well, technically, I should do the same for Android too, right?
Yes,
Well, it's
and
for me, it's the same thing. Bundle ID.
yeah, no, you don't have to do it. You can't do it in one go. You need to do either iOS or Android in the first.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you need to add it one by one.
But if it's different, then I need to register too, right?
Uh, no, you we need to register multiple for each platform, but I think we can only do it one at a time.
Oh, okay, okay. I see, I see. You mean
Yeah,
first this and then come back
yeah,
and then add another one.
yeah.
Okay.
If you need Android one, you can add another one as well.
Yeah, sure. Now I see what you
Yeah,
mean.
but right now we are running on iOS only, so it's okay to add
Yeah,
only
just
iOS.
for fun.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, then I'm good to go, right? Let's go back to the code. So,
Yes.
okay. Let me open up my main again. Let me close this page. Here is my service. So now we are ready, right? I can now just go and implement sign in for this method.
Yes.
But
So
I think the first thing I need to do is that in my main.dart, I need to initialize my service, so which is Appwrite service,
service.init.
yeah, instance that. So this is what I need to make sure first of all in my
Yes.
application.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have my everything ready. So then I can go to my actually homepage, I think, and that's going to be login here. Actually, I already said I want to implement a login action. So this
Okay.
is what I'm gonna do here. Then I
Make it
think
async and then await.
let's assume that it works, right? So I don't
Yeah.
want to deal
Yeah.
with catch and error handling and stuff like that.
No,
But
we
then
already
let's
catch it
say,
in service, so it's good.
yeah, but I know, but I mean, let's. I don't want to actually deal with if it's not like logged in, or let's say
Yeah.
there is no session or error. Just do not redirect, show message. Let's not do that. What
Yeah.
this is something that we should take into account. But
Yes.
then
Yes.
here I have my login.
Anonymously.
Uh, why don't? Oh, I need to import it.
Yeah.
I do have my login anonymous. Okay. So
Anonymous.
here is my. There is an error here.
Why is it?
This is because it must be feature.
Ah, yes.
Okay, let's say that now it creates and then it redirects everything to my menu screen. Here is the
Yes.
safe, like we create session.
Yes.
Let's for everyone else, let's add a to-do list to do. Um, make sure error handling and proper logic will in place. later.
Yeah.
Okay. So good. So here we go. If I now actually maybe hot restart, then if I
Mhm.
log in, then I will gonna I will. All right. So first of all, I will see an error.
Okay.
Um,
Missing plugin.
that's probably okay because oh no, maybe it's not okay.
What is missing? No implementation found for what actually? Let's see the message. It's
Appwrite service.
this is
Uh,
some package info. You need to rebuild because Appwrite package uses package info and device info to gather some information. So
okay.
origin
Okay. So then,
information and stuff.
like, I need to stop completely and rebuild again.
Yes, because
By the way,
while yeah,
you said that you're using package info and device info,
yes,
not the plus version.
plus version.
That's good. I'm proud of you.
We are using the plus version because we support all platforms.
That's cool. That's cool. All right. Let's wait for the application to build. Okay. And now it's building. Maybe we can take a time and go to the dashboard and create our database. Is that
Yeah,
possible? Should I do that? This is the
yeah,
database, right?
we should create a collection. So
Let's
collection
do
is
that.
like a table in MariaDB. So we should create a
Okay.
collection, name it
So,
maybe coffee.
like, I want my coffees
Yeah, hit
or
create.
coffees. Okay.
Yeah,
Now I have a collection. Good. I
yes,
see this is a rule here, so that I can actually specify rule per column or per collection, right?
yeah,
Per table.
yes. So we need to add columns. So whatever columns you want, you need to add those and update the collection before we can add any data. We need a proper rule.
Okay. All right. So then now I have this. That's good. So I have the collection ID here. I see
Yeah, we need
and
that collection
permission.
ID.
Should I care about the permission at this point?
Yes. So in order for the user to be able to write in this collection, we need to add some permission in write and to be able to read. If we do not add any permission, no data, no one can read and write to this collection.
Okay. Then I definitely want to write maybe manually at the moment.
So yeah,
But
we write the permission manually here. So read access, we can just say asterisk. You can see add asterisk for wildcard access below.
okay,
Yeah, that's good. Now, for write access, let's say we want only logged in users to be able to write. So you can say something like
okay,
role colon
okay,
member. No, role
okay.
colon
So
member.
roll like that.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah, that's
So
good.
let's update.
Let's just make sure there is no extra space in the permission, right? Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, sure. Okay,
So
good.
now,
Let's copy the collection. Actually, let's go back here. Okay,
yeah,
it seems like it's coming up. It's built already. Let me remove this. Okay. So now, if I go to my sign in, okay, it seems now it's working. So
if you
can I
do not,
see in the dashboard? Can I see
yeah,
if in it's okay?
uh,
Where can I see that users?
yeah, you should go to users. You should see new anonymous user added
Yeah,
there.
here we go.
Yes,
Here we go. There is actually. All right, good. So now we have one person logged in.
yes.
Can I now just add or maybe okay, let's actually add one of these coffees. So I do have a coffee a
Uh, bef-
model.
Before we add, so let's go
Yeah.
to the coffee model. We need to set up those rules because we need to know what columns is in the collection before we can add data.
Well, when you say rules, do you mean rules in here?
Yeah,
Dashboard.
yes.
Okay.
You need to tap add, and then
Okay.
level can be anything, but let's keep the level and key same. So
Okay. So
what
the label
attributes
is
we,
like my document label. Like for example, coffee icon, name, price. Let's say name I want.
yeah, name and price. So name, key name, okay, type text,
That's
name will be
text.
text, and you can hit create. Once you create, we can create another, let's say price.
That's going to be
Price,
numeric.
yes, numeric, create. Another thing we can do, just expand the name. There is a expansion in name, yes. So
Okay.
if you scroll down, you can make it required, so name is required.
Yeah.
It's not array, that's fine, we don't want default value, that's fine. Do the same for price, we can make it required for price.
Yes.
Okay, and icon is icon data, I don't think we can keep it here, right?
Yes, it's icon data, but don't worry about it. That's
Yeah,
okay.
let's just hit update. Once you set the rule, you need to hit update here, update button.
Okay.
Yes, so we have our collection, we have our rules, right?
Yes, right.
And then
Like
we,
this is
yeah,
the document.
okay, yeah, you can add document here, you can add directly here. If you try add, you
Yeah,
can add new
let's
coffee.
do that. Let's say espresso and price is 10, for example.
Set the permission so that at least we can read.
Oh, for
Re-
each document I
yeah,
need to set a permission.
yes.
It does not inherit from the collection.
Yes, at the moment, the permission structure is like a bit difficult to understand because the collection permission only makes sure that who can create new document or delete
I
document from
see.
the collection, right? So we are working on a new architecture. In the new refactored database, we'll have an option that will say collection level permission or document level permission, right? If we get
Yes.
that implemented, we will only need to set up either collection level or document level, not both. So that is how we are planning to upgrade this. Let's see where it goes. It's still under working.
Okay, sounds good. So then write permission.
Write
For
permission
now,
right now.
nothing. I don't want to change
Yeah,
anything. Just keep it.
yeah, you can create.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, then I do have now one document here. So now I have a question here. So I do have a document. I see the data.
Yes.
So then can I create another collection inside the collection? This is possible in like Firebase, Firestore, for example, right?
Yes, yes. So I'm against it. We can't right now. We can do some sort of thing. We have an embedded document. If you go to the collection settings, if you go to
Uh,
collection, yeah,
settings,
go to the settings tab and add rule.
rule,
Try
yeah.
to add another. So there is a rule type. If you
Mm-hmm.
set the rule type, there is one option called embedded document.
Okay, so let's say there is a history for this particular, let's say, things. And then, okay, there is embedded here, you mean?
Yeah, that will basically embed the document from another collection. So for that we need to create entirely another collection, but I'm against this because this doesn't serve any purpose, right? We can do the same thing just by adding id attribute to link each other. So if I create
Yeah,
another
sure.
collection and link it with id, it's good enough, right?
You mean we can create a relation between our collections by adding an ID to another collection? Like this is simply like let's say a relational database approach, right? We create tables and maybe one collection to have like to join different tables, things like that, for example.
No. We might think that uh, that is not possible with Appwrite at the moment. Like adding ID will not automatically link, but even without automatic link, if we have the ID, we can actually fetch it from another collection, right?
I see.
So right now, if you use embedded document, you can embed a collection itself. It will be embedded as array of another collection or another documents or even single document from another collection. But it's best not to add it. It's
I
best
see.
not. I personally I don't like it because it complicates things. Even sub
Absolutely.
collection in Firebase, I don't use it that much. I just create basically another collection and just keep a
Yeah.
reference. It's easier that way. So it's, I think with NoSQL, it's fairly good to duplicate some data and not have like sub collections and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
sure.
yeah.
Definitely. Well, when it comes to duplication, then there are some things that might happen, like for example, how we can sync these data and some
Mhm.
stuff like that. But that's
Yeah.
okay. I mean, one of the purpose of these NoSQL databases is to have these duplication to make it faster to query and receive your data. You don't need to just go to different collection and stuff. But I created that document reference in the oh, I think I forgot to update it. Let's say I'm gonna actually let's say create logs. Let's say logs, and then I'm gonna yeah update it, and
So
then well one
if
one thing that is okay now I have actually these logs here, and that's gonna be empty.
it's empty because first we need to create another collection that is logs, and then we need
Okay,
to
let's actually
set.
mock that. Let's
Yeah.
say I have a logs here.
Yeah, we can
Let's
set a rule. Let's just add one rule. Let's make it
let's say
log.
yes. Let's say user. Let's say user ID, for example.
Okay.
Whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm
Yeah,
just
no
okay.
problem. Yeah.
Permission, probably this.
Yeah.
What should I do for the permission here? Like again, role member or
This is actually, we can say role member, yes, for collection.
okay. That's a quick one for the collection. Now I have logs collection and coffees collection. So now if I go
Now,
to coffees,
and we need to go to settings and link those up. Go to settings, and if you expand this, there is an option. First,
ah,
this is an array, right? We need multiple logs, so you can turn on the array. If you don't want multiple logs, you can hide the array, and then you can also check the logs collection there. So this will be the embedded documents of logs.
I'm not sure if I well, I'm trying to click
There might be some issue with that. I think we had a report regarding that. Let me try to log in.
but don't worry.
And
So yeah, when I say array, I'm not able to select. But when I don't say array, then I can select a collection. Maybe that's okay.
maybe you can just refresh the page and select it first array and then try to select it.
Okay, you mean that first update this,
Yeah.
and now it's refreshed, then open, and then select this.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
now
now I have actually my logs. My logs is an array and a collection of logs. That's good. So then if I go back to my document here, so I see the array.
you can
So probably if I
edit
open,
this document. Yeah. You can add
oh,
logs. You can
okay,
add logs. Okay, so you can,
whatever.
yeah, and add. So this will now consist of multiple logs.
But then where does these logs be stored? Like it will store in the collection of logs? Yeah,
Yes.
okay. There is a
Yes.
relation.
Yeah.
Okay, so sounds good. So
Yeah.
now I have at least my database ready. I want my price and name, and user is also ready. That's the two most important services that I needed. So let's go back here. And you just help me to read the data. I'm not going to actually change my app because I need to add more data. I will do it afterwards, probably. But let's
Mhm.
actually receive some data. So how can I receive these data from database?
So let's make another function, get coffees or something.
Get coffees, let's say.
Yeah. And we already have database service initialized.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, we can use the same try catch as before, just to be
Not gonna
sure.
do anything. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh
try catch. I like
yeah.
even similar things.
Yeah. Exact same. You
Actually,
can just copy paste those things.
good.
Yeah.
So then here probably I need to like call something on
Yeah.
database, right?
Yes. Database dot list
Uh-huh.
documents.
Well, let's take a look at this function. So I have create document. So probably I
Yeah.
need to pass a collection ID, then I can create.
Yes.
Delete a document, get a document, list document, and stuff. Okay, the list document is what I want. List of documents, right?
Yes. Yes. So we need the collection ID. You need to copy
Okay.
it from there.
It was this collection ID.
Yes. Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
So it's actually uh, okay.
Null.
So that's
Database can
null,
be null.
null, null. Yeah, sure. And then it's gonna be like, is it respond again or is it copies directly? Document.
So a response. It's response. Response dot data will be the coffee list. So it is actually, if you print out response dot data, let's print it so that we can see the actual response model. Or for each response we have an extensive documentation. If we go to our docs, we can see what each endpoint responds as well.
I see. Okay, so then I'm gonna go now to my let's say menu page, uh, and then in the menu, in like when I think I have a
Maybe
um,
init state somewhere.
yeah, I think I have an init state. Do I? No, I don't. But I can create an init state. That's fine.
Yeah.
Um, Here we go. And then here probably where I can actually call my app write service. Um, Service. And then I can have my instance and then get my coffees.
Yeah.
So then technically if I now refresh and then I go to my menu page, I should see in the log the list of data. Let's see.
Yeah, we should.
Let's restart.
uh
But one question here. So then if
yes.
I log in right now, will it create like another session?
Yes, yes, because we already have an active session. You can just check. What we do to check active session is we try to get account dot get. We try to call account dot get. Okay.
So like in here,
You can have a future
let's
builder at the moment. It's best to have like some kind of state management, but at the moment we can use a future builder.
yeah. But how about like checking before even creating an announcement? Can I just say account dot here, for example, something?
No, we don't need to do it here. Because we don't want each login call to check for account.get, right? We can have
Okay.
another function, get account function. You can create another function called get account.
Okay. Let's say here get account,
Yes,
and then here get
account.get.
dot get.
So here actually let's return true or false. If there is an account, let's return true, otherwise let's return false and make future bool.
But what will it return? Is it
It will
what will
return
it
the
return
actual
like?
account.
Okay, it returns an account. So like okay, let's say
Response
account.
account. No, it will return response. Response
Ah,
dot data will
response
be the account.
and then respond dot data if it's not null, right?
No. If it's null, it will go to it will throw exception. So account dot get will throw exception. If it
Oh,
doesn't
I
throw
see.
exception, then we are logged in. If it throws exception, then we are not logged in. So
Okay, then it's safe here. I say here, for example, true, and
yeah,
here I say false.
false. Yes, and we can make future bool at the moment.
Okay, future bool for sure.
Okay. So in the login
Um,
page or in your screen where you check whether or not user is logged in.
it was home page, so here. So, but then
So
before that, I can actually like do
call,
this. Like, if can I do
yes,
that here?
yeah,
Like, if dot get
get
account,
account, yeah, then we can simply navigate. Otherwise we can.
Yeah, so sure. Let's say if actually it's, let me actually do this one here. Fine. Has account or has
Yeah,
session. So then if has session, it's actually, if no has session,
then
then
create session.
create session.
Yeah,
Otherwise, just navigate. Okay,
yeah,
that's technically what we do. Let's actually
easy.
reset and see if it works.
Okay, we can just confirm by going to Appwrite dashboard and see if new user is created or not.
Yeah. Okay, I just clicked. I'm gonna go to dashboard, user. No, it didn't.
Okay, yeah, so
There is
that's
a
great.
session. That's great.
So
So it's working.
yeah,
So then I actually now in my console, I should see, yeah, I should see actually the data. And here's the data. I see it actually.
yeah, so data is actually list of documents that returns total number of documents that you have access in that collection. So right now
I
total number
see.
of documents is 1, and the documents filled in the data returns the actual documents, list of documents.
I see. Okay. So then here is where I need to now deserialize or, create my Dart object and maybe have all of my model and stuff like that, and then render it. So we're not going to do it today, but that's good. So at least we get some data. So, but to once more, so you
Mhm.
said that the documents list is the list of documents that I will receive, and the ID is the ID of my document. What is
Yes,
collection?
collection ID. It's
Okay.
basically collection ID.
So for each document that is returning, you also return the collection ID.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
basically embedded in the document, collection ID.
And then we have the data, which is
This is the
as
logs.
name.
This is actually logs. Another.
No, this one here. Name is Sperso and price is 10. So it's
Yeah,
technically what we added. And the logs is coming from logs table, which we added already.
yeah, you can see the collection ID. That is the logs collection ID, not the
Yes,
uh,
that's correct.
coffee.
All right, very good. So far so great. So I created my database. I can add more coffees and read from that. That's perfect. I assume that the writing is also not that hard. So you showed me how I can add like the rules and for members and stuff like that.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a lot probably to learn and read. I can understand, but so far it's great, and I learned quite a lot. I really enjoyed it. The fact that I ran everything in my machine and I can actually host it somewhere later. That's also a great opportunity.
Yes.
So I
So
think we should end our show. Go ahead if you want to say something.
yeah, I have a couple of things. One, uh, Appwrite.io/docs. It's a great place. So we have extensive documentation for each of our SDKs. If we go to Appwrite.io/docs, for each service. So right now we are using account service. So you can go to account service below in the REST API section. Yeah, and we can choose the SDK. Right now there is web SDK. You can choose Flutter SDK there at the top. You can see web SDK. Ah, you went in another page, not this one. So in account service, if you go to account service again, so there is a choice web SDK. You can see there client
Ah, here.
integration. Yeah, you can choose Flutter SDK, Android SDK. So if you choose Flutter, all the examples, code examples will be Flutter SDK. If you
Will be
tap,
Flutter.
yeah, if you tap on any of the
Okay.
yeah, any of the requests, there is example request. And if you go below, there is in the left hand side there is like this response for each service, for each endpoint. If you go a little
I
bit down,
see.
there is response, right? Response object, a bit scroll. Yeah, so
I scroll
response.
down.
Yeah, so each service has response. This is request. If you scroll a little bit down, there is response.
Yes, here you go.
Yeah, and response This is not the one. This is redirect. Try another one that has actual response. So there is a response, then there is a payload object. If you tap on that, you can see what each endpoint returns. So how each endpoint returns.
I see.
Okay.
That's cool. So the
This is one
documentation is
thing.
also great. Yeah.
Sorry. I have one more thing. Sorry. I have one more thing, that is Flutter SDK is adding another capability. Right now, everything that Flutter SDK returns is just plain JSON object, that is map string dynamic, right? In the response data. So right now we are going another iteration of Flutter SDK where each endpoint will return the actual object. So we'll have a dart object for account, we'll have a dart object for storage files, everything. And for documents, we'll have something similar like Firebase that you can convert to your custom model. So you can get the document and convert to your custom model using the document endpoint. So we'll have that response models implemented soon. Right now, we are just retaining all the JSON object.
This is fantastic. This is quite helpful actually. So if we can have everything in the code and just like play with that, it's much better than just moving to the documentation website, coming back again. It just takes some time, but it's
Yeah,
great,
yeah,
great improvement. I am looking forward for the new refactoring, process that you are doing, and also the new package for Dart and Flutter. So this was great so far, Damodar. So it was fantastic to have you on board and talking about Appwrite. Well, I learned personally, I learned quite a lot. I've never used Appwrite. This was my first time playing with that together with you, and I'm gonna go and actually learn more about it. Definitely. So I will probably rewrite my whole Firebase app with Appwrite and get the feeling like how it works, and that's fantastic. But you should promise us maybe sometime later when you have the new refactoring in place and new Flutter SDK in place. You should come back to this show and let's talk about the new features and everything that you amazingly have done. And let us know and let us learn from you.
definitely. So I have a couple of things I forgot before. So one more thing, we did not touch real-time API in this session, but there
Yeah,
is a real-time API from Appwrite 0.10, which you can subscribe to real-time events. So when a document is created or when new user is added, you kind of subscribe to those things, and you can get real-time notification using WebSocket server. And then another thing we have is like sorry what we have a server side SDKs. We touched only client side SDKs today, right? We were creating collection from Appwrite dashboard, right? So we have a server side SDK. Even for Dart, we have Dart Appwrite SDK, using which you can do all those things that you did from console using the code. So you can create collections, you can create users, you can create anything from the server side SDK using the API keys. So that is also another possibility.
that's fantastic. I cannot wait to play with these features. So I will definitely go ahead and do and maybe create some more videos on or articles around it.
We would
Perfect.
love that.
Thank you very much. Perfect. Thank you very much, Damodar. So it was great to see you in this show. If you have anything else to share, please do. Otherwise, then let's actually before we finish, let me quickly open up our your SDK website on GitHub.
Mhm. Yes.
Here's the SDK for Flutter. Everyone can see. First of all, shame on me. I didn't start you. I just did.
Thank you. Thank you.
So and here is the whole SDK. I think the Mudar and the team will appreciate your contribution. So please go ahead to this repository and make issues and also send requests, pull requests. That would be fantastic. Let's get this amazing open source moving forward.
Yeah,
And
great.
with perfect. Anything else that you want to share with us, Damudar?
Nothing. I just want to thank you for having me in this show and giving Upright a place to share this. I'm really thankful from myself and from the whole Upright team that you gave us this opportunity. I hope Many people will join Appwrite after seeing this. We hope to see a lot of new people, and we always love community and contributions because we are open source. We work in open. You can see all our pull requests. You can see all our issues that we are working on, what's going on, what's coming next. So come join us. You can join us on our Appwrite Discord. It will be appwrite.io/discord. So come hang out with us. You can learn anything. Our Discord is quite active. If you have any issues, I urge you to join Discord as well, and urge all everyone listening to this to join our Discord so that we can learn together and we can create something awesome together.
Fantastic. I will put all the links in the show note or the comment below, and everyone can later click and just go and join this amazing community. Thank you very much once more, Damodar. And with that said, have a fantastic, lovely day.
Thank you. You too.